Hi everyone, I'm Kieran Woodsmith from 81 Vintage and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make these vintage style circus knockdown dolls. I've booked 2 dates for the Arthur Swallows Antiques Fairs next year and I'm teaming with new ideas ready for stock to sell. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for lots more quirky, fun ideas. So I first came across these knockdown dolls in a magazine and I was really intrigued by them, and I was absolutely shocked at the price of them. £2,500 for a set of 6 original, or even £130 odd for a new set. I just thought I was absolutely crazy. So I decided to create my own. So I'm not the greatest drawer or artist on paper or computer, so I actually had a graphic designer create this design for me, and then I had it printed on good old iron-on transfer. I'm going to be attaching it onto some old packs of drop cloth that I have. I used to do a lot of upholstery. These armchairs are 2 that I did, and I used drop cloth for the arms and the sides. And now that I'm not doing as much upholstery, I thought I might as well use up some fabric. So I gave it a quick steam. The instructions told me to use a hard surface, not an ironing board, which is probably where I've gone wrong in the past, and to not use any steam and apply good pressure on the overall transfer. After about 60 seconds, it was pretty well stuck. But I decided to go for round 2 and do it twice so that I got really good adhesion with this fabric, because the weave of the fabric was a little bit open. Then you're supposed to be able to peel it off with one smooth motion, and the colours were so much more vibrant once they'd been ironed onto the fabric. Then I chopped around the print with my brand new fabric scissors. I have to say, I've never really had a proper pair of fabric scissors, and they have made all the difference, and I'm being very strict with myself. I was also trying to edit out my fantastic crafting attire here with my Santa socks. Next, I have all this frilly trim left over from when I used to make these eyeball cushions and sell them in my shop, and I bought it because it was on sale, it was vintage, but I've got nothing left to do with it, so I thought I would frame out the edge of these with this green frill. The original ones that I saw had sort of a vintage fur on them, but I thought that this would just be a good way to use up what I had. Then I just sewed around the edge. I'd left a good sort of 1/2 inch border around the transfer, and I used that as my guide for adding on the lace. Then I cut the end a little bit more neat, and it was time to sew on the back. For this, I'm just using another scrap piece of drop cloth, and I just took 2 pieces together, placed them right sides together, and then sewed along the bottom to create a little seam. Some of this drop cloth has been used for projects, and I think it gives it a really good vintage feel, a lot more sort of authentic and found. Once I've done that, it gives it a finished seam at the bottom, and then you want to fold it over about 1 inch and sew in another seam so that you get a little flat part at the bottom, so that it creates a little foot for your knockdown doll. Then it was time to sew around the edges, so I just used the line from where I sewed on the frilly trim as my guide, and where you come to sew in the feet, I just tuck the edges in so that it all looks neat, and just make sure I'm not catching any of that trim. And don't forget to leave a hole so that you can pull it inside out and you can fill it. And then trimmed all the edges. I didn't worry about overlocking this piece because I'd left a good amount of edge, so I don't think it'll unravel. And then turn it inside out, just being careful not to catch the transfer too much, and pop it all the way out and then smooth out those edges. So to fill my doll, I actually started to stuff in a little bit of scrap fabric at the top of the piece, just so that the head was a little bit more fully formed, because the rice that I'm filling it with tended to settle at the bottom, and I just thought that that helped keep his head or his forehead that bit more fuller looking. And then it was time to get rice all over the place. So Mike and I have been buying cheap rice from the supermarkets whenever we pop in there. We buy a couple of packs at a time, and for one of these dolls it takes probably about 1 1/3, so that's 1.3 kilos worth of rice to fill them. And then the last thing to do is to close over that hole, and I actually just used hot glue to close that. You could sew it if you want, but hot glue was just simple and easy, especially with all of that rice stuffed in there, and it held up pretty strong as well. And then it was time to have a quick game of knockdown dolls. I haven't actually got a balls, this ball string will have to do. I hope this video has given you some inspiration to create your own version of this knockdown doll. And don't forget, you can also find out how to get hold of the artwork in the description box down below. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for lots more quirky, fun ideas. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.